Hello, everyone. So happy to be here to record a new video on this new year. Happy New Year. I wasn't able to start this YouTube channel like all the other YouTube channels seem to have done so because we were battling some sickness at home, and we still are, and I want to fill you in about all of that, as well as what I'm hopefully going to be doing this year on this channel. And I wanted to answer some questions that you guys left me on my community tab last month. So this video is going to be a little bit about everything. So let's get started. Okay, I've been asked by some of you guys how I'm doing, how the family is doing. A lot of you guys have been praying for us. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I know God answers your prayers, and keep praying for us always. I've been thinking about spiritual warfare, in particular these last days. One moment.
I'm trying to find the governor first, though.
You should probably not get close to him because, with the whole COVID thing going on with you. Alrighty.
News reporter. What's his name? Alex or something like that?
I don't know.
Channel 7 guy.
Channel 7 guy.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know that whole COVID brain thing? So come home and rest and eat some more, okay? Alrighty. So my husband, he just went to get another test. He had scheduled it before the last test that he got, which is how we found out that he had tested positive for COVID. My son, my daughter, and me, however, were the first ones to get sick since December, before Christmas time. So we were already under the weather, and then around Christmas time, after Christmas, it seemed like everything was better. We were starting to feel better, planning to go out and do things, and then again, after my husband's birthday, that's when we started to notice the kids were again under the weather, and of course I caught it as well. And then my husband seemed to be the healthiest one of us all, and then all of a sudden, probably when I was starting to feel like I was getting better, that's when he started with his own symptoms. And we just assumed, it's probably just another not so serious thing. We were trying to get tests, COVID tests, the ones that you can just buy or get tested. A few months ago, you were able to just walk in for a test, and now it's impossible. One evening, we were both of us. He was in the car, and I was calling all of the Walgreens and trying to find a place that still was selling the test, and we couldn't. So he had to go to one of those websites where people individually sell things. That was the way we were able to get our test. So I had tested myself before Christmas time, and it said negative. And so the 2 times that I tested, it said negative. So I'm not sure if I was just late with the testing, or I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it's just, even if you know, you still have to just stay home, take care of yourself, rest, eat healthy, all of those things, right? And not mingle with other people. Even before COVID, I always felt like, okay, if we have the flu, if we have a cold, we're not going to play dates. I don't want kids coming over if they're sick either, just because if we don't have to catch something, it's just good. So it's really hard. It's been really difficult having who knows how many colds and for the last month. And with 2 little children so young, it's been a lot of work. And then on top of everything, my husband getting COVID. 3 days ago, he tested positive. So he's been quarantined in one of the rooms with his separate restroom the last 2 days, I think. And it's been a lot. It's been a lot because I still haven't been 100%, although I'm much better now than what I was. Still have a few symptoms personally, like runny nose. My head was hurting a lot yesterday and other things, but in the busyness of taking care of everyone, I don't know how, but I felt, I felt like a Bible verse came to my mind, like 1 Samuel 1:10, and then I looked it up, and it said 1 Samuel 1:10. In her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly. And that Bible verse encouraged me that when Hannah was distraught, when she really needed God's intervention, God's help, she went before the Lord and she released all of her emotions, all of her petition to the Lord. And when I read that Bible verse, I went to my room as discreetly as I could, because as soon as I close the doors, my children will come and follow, and I just wanted some alone time to pray briefly. And I asked God, to heal us, to heal me. I was going through something else for the last several days, and today I received the answer to that prayer, and it just taught me that we need to pray to God, not just in our head throughout the day, but actually take a moment by ourselves with the Lord and ask Him to help us. I think he likes to show us that He pays attention to us and that He answers our prayer according to His will. So when He sees, yep, I want to heal you from that, He'll do it. And maybe sometimes He waits for you to pray so He can show you. You can know it's not a coincidence, but it was a direct result of that prayer that you made. It serves like an evidence, a personal evidence to us, and it reminds us that we are loved by God. He is intrinsically working in our lives. And that got me to think, there's lessons about the Bible having to do with spiritual warfare, weapons of the world. We don't have those kind of weapons. We have divine ones. And then, you hear about the fruit of the Spirit, the armor, and all of that goes to kind of talk about how there's more to our lives than what we see with our physical eyes. And I do notice, like in the past, whenever I've done something, like for example an interview about an important topic, either like a little before or after something happens, like an attack. One time I was about to do an interview like within the next hour for this YouTube channel, and someone crashed into our car like in front of our house, and little things like that. I think that the enemy is always looking for ways to stop us from doing something good for God, or get us into like arguing with our family, our loved ones. He's trying to steal our peace. And something I've noticed lately is that looking back, the Bible talks about how we are like sheep, and we have our good shepherd, Jesus. But the Bible portrays the enemy as a roaring lion looking who to devour. And so it's like we're defenseless compared to the enemy. He's at an advantage over us. But thankfully, Jesus is our shepherd, right? So we have the greatest advantage. But still, I've noticed that it's possible for us to be so like limited in our view of what we're living in. I remember like years ago going through something, and then now looking back and thinking, whoa, it wasn't just one thing going on in my life. It was like the perfect storm to like destroy me, or destroy my faith, destroy my marriage, destroy my family. So I think the enemy is very calculated. God is obviously the wisest, right? God cannot be outmaneuvered. But perhaps if we're not, depending on our good shepherd, the enemy could outmaneuver us. So we need to just constantly be walking with the Lord, and He will protect us from all of the spiritual warfare going on. Sometimes it's as like fighting back, I think, is as simple as don't start an argument, because that's going to steal your peace. You're going to get yourself sick. You're going to cause problems. You're going to cause friction with your children. That's going to cause problems in their own behavior and psychology and all that. Little things that we don't realize in the present. Or sometimes, like, if you're sick, go to sleep early. Get that sleep. That's you're fighting in ways that are not, they don't seem like they're powerful, but they are. And especially prayer. That was so obvious. It's one of those things you take for granted. Sometimes you just want to recover quickly by doing all the right things, but we really do need to depend on God as well. So I'd love to learn more about spiritual warfare. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below. I was just listening to an interview with Sean McDowell, and Tim took a picture of it because he mentioned a book. I don't know if you read it. His name is Tim Muehlhoff, and I really enjoy listening to what he has to say. So he mentioned something about spiritual warfare, and I think in marriage. So I would be really interested in reading that book as well, and hopefully in this year. I have a long reading list, but I want to read faster this year so I could read more books. So that's what I wanted to talk about, what's been going on recently. I took some notes here. I wanted to share also that on the year 2021, I have to check if it's still recording. 1 second. Yeah. My camera turns off after 30 minutes. I should probably try to finish in 30 minutes total. Okay. 2021. I feel that the Lord taught me, gave me a lot of peace, because in the years prior, I felt a lot of absence of peace when it came to even frustration and anger sometimes, feeling like I was so unsure about what was biblical and what wasn't.
Actually, there's something I want to tell you.
Can I wait till I'm done?
No, it's more important.
Okay.
You gotta see it for yourself.
What is it? The truck outside?
No, the you know the white rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
It's falling down.
The rectangle?
Yeah.
The frame?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big one. It's tilted.
Something was about to fall down from the wall, which never falls, so that's weird. Okay, yeah, I feel like God, the Holy Spirit, has taught me that this is a journey that we go through with Him, learning, to identify what's true, what are true interpretations, what are not the most reasonable interpretations of Scripture, of the Bible. And so I feel like I've developed the mindset of a Bible scholar. I want to say that word not as look at how much I know, but more like someone that is purposely studying in life about the Bible. And it's so different from, for example, like tribalism, where you're kind of just not associating with people that disagree with you, and you're kind of just making fun of those people, not even hearing them out for yourself, not reading any of their things. You're afraid even to listen to what other people are saying or teaching. And I think it's important for us to use the critical thinking skills that He has given us, and the Holy Spirit is with us to help us to, discern through all of those things. So I feel more at peace. I also feel more at peace realizing that all of the people that are telling you what is biblical, all of those Bible teachers that you esteem so much, all of them are doing exactly the same thing that I am, that you are as a Bible student. They took time, or they should continue to be taking time to learn more and more and more about the Bible, about the background, the context, hear different opinions, prayerfully consider these things, maybe live them out practically, see if it is good in real life experience. And so it's like I'm learning not to, if I have a question, I don't necessarily have to go to ask my question to someone, whereas I can go find the resources that those people might recommend, and I can learn and grow and sort through these things on my own as well. Not to say that it's not good to ask people questions. Obviously, I think it's a good thing. That's why I interview a lot of people, and I feel like I grow through those things, and I love being able to share those interviews with you guys, because I want you guys to learn and grow as well, and know about more resources that you can pursue on your own. So that's, I think, what I've enjoyed learning the most from last year, thankfully, as a result of this YouTube channel. go to the next thing, I wanted to talk a little bit about church. Like when COVID was starting, I was torn about should Christians go to church even though they might get exposed or expose other people, or they're at greater risk of, fatalities. Also, like, should government officials place laws to protect people? And it's so interesting in our country how we have a constitution to protect us from, governments impeding us from our religious liberty, our freedom to gather, for example. Some churches were more successful than others during that difficult time. Like John MacArthur's church, they had a great lawyer team to help them continue to gather. But I have a real life experience that just happened recently. I've been missing church a lot, but at the same time I was feeling really sick and dealing with a lot of emotional things that were very difficult to overcome. And so it was nice to have the option of watching at home, but it's still something that I was longing for. And so recently we started going for a little bit to church, and unfortunately we went this last Sunday, which was, I think that Sunday night was when my husband got tested, and that's when he found out that he was positive. He plays at this church. He wears his mask. He's way more sanitary precautious than me, and I consider myself pretty precautious. But I remember going to the doctor and before COVID, and he would be like, don't touch the elevator button. Like he would use I don't know, the elbow or this, and I would always think, oh, okay, he's a little bit of a germaphobe. So anyway, just to say that he's really cautious. But I just wonder if the church, if we should be a little more intellectual when it comes to these things. It's as simple as, if you're sick and you don't know if it's COVID related or not, please stay home. And we look forward to seeing you when you feel better. You don't have symptoms, you're not coughing, and there's nothing unbiblical about taking a couple weeks off. And because we are, going with the times and making the most of technology, you can gather with us electronically, on Zoom or whatever, and you can have fellowship with other people. You could talk electronically to church members. I just wonder if that would be the best solution rather than just going the political route of just being against anything just because the right or the left, it sounds like a political issue that we disagree with. So yeah, I think we should just be a little more challenged intellectually in the church, not fall for just rhetorical things that are said, like things like, oh, it's just the flu, or, and I know I'm stepping on some of your toes because you guys are upset with me right now, but in real life, I mean, just look around and do you know someone that has died or has developed serious heart problems as a result of this sickness? So yeah, something that I hope we'll learn from after hopefully this thing resolves in the future. I wanted to tell you about some of the things that I'll be starting on January. I'm excited to take a online class with Professor Nancy Piercy. I wonder if enrollment is still open, but I'm so looking forward to it. And we'll be learning about toxic masculinity, the topic, and we get to read her newest book coming out. She talked a little bit about that in our last Q&A video. You can find it on the girltalkapologetics.com website or our YouTube channel, Girl Talk Apologetics. And it's towards the end if you want to hear that. Or it's in my channel also. Just search for Nancy Piercy and she talks about it in that video. Maybe I'll just link it in the description. And I'm saying this because I feel like, okay, if I were to pursue learning more about Christian apologetics, which I am, since I'm enrolled in the Biola certificate program for apologetics. I want to complete that this year as well. But if I wanted to choose, what am I most passionate about? What would I want to study on and present to people? Make a defense for Christianity on what topic? I think that my topic would be having to do with women, because there are a lot of objections made against Christianity by the way that, things that are brought up in Bible verses having to do with women. So I find that topic so fascinating, which is why I signed up for this course having to do with just masculinity, the concept. And I'm also going to be making videos this year, going through an egalitarian book. I've shared it before, but going through each chapter and just thinking through some of those things. And as well as I got a book by Craig Keener on Paul, wives and women. So I'm really looking forward to exploring that. I also got a few other books having to do with the Talmud and Jewish, I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but Jewish beliefs about women, and just learning a little more about that as well. So I would love to go down that path. I'm so passionate about that, which leads me to, okay, my camera stopped exactly there. So anyway, I was just going to talk about, I forgot what I was going to talk about. I should probably just stop this video and go rest, which I will. Let me just go down the list, and if I remember, I'll share with you. So another thing I'm going to be starting on January is my book club that I help co-host. It's not my book club. I just feel like I can call it my book club because I feel a part of it. And I'll share a little bit more about that, our next book, in a upcoming video that I'm making. If you'd like to join, let me know and I'll get you that information. I'm also working on releasing a new song, In Your Hands. It's the title of it. We were working on the music. We've been reaching out to musicians, and my husband has pretty much the music down. It's a little different. I love it. I want to step outside of the box and just have fun being creative. But this song was a song that I felt inspired to write when COVID times were barely starting, and it talks about how my life is in your hands. And I just kind of I felt peace about realizing, wait, COVID doesn't get the final say about anyone's life. God has the final say. And so that gave me peace, because whenever someone does pass away, unfortunately, God God had the final say if that was going to happen or not. So it's just important for us to remember, hey, God is above anything, every scary situation. It's comforting to know that. So I'm excited. As soon as I can and my husband can, we're going to finish that up and share that song soon. And if you want to follow our music or hear other songs, go to my other YouTube channel, my music YouTube channel, Susan and Ron. And I wanted to share too that I'm going to be interviewed by another YouTuber, and I'm excited to give you more information about that. I'll share the video in my community tab when that's available. So that's going to happen at the end of this month. And the rest of the year, I plan on doing book reviews, reading a lot of books, which, by the way, it's really funny. There's a funny story behind why I've started reading more books lately. As a mom, like, you just feel like you don't have time, you're tired all the time, so you watch TV. It's easier than reading a book, right? On your spare time that you have. But I've always wanted to be someone that read, like, for fun. I enjoyed reading throughout college, so that helps me also, just keeping things in my mind, thinking about things, But one time I heard a YouTuber, you probably know who I'm talking about, but I won't say the person's name. But the YouTuber was talking about how he's very aware of his targeted audience. And one of the things that person said was that his audience doesn't like to read a lot of books. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm this person's audience, and that is currently true about myself. So ever since then, and in one of the lectures I heard in the certificate program on apologetics that I'm in, they talked about how our culture is so, like, illiterate. We don't like to read books. We prefer just to do something more enjoyable, more easy, like binge watching shows. So those two things encouraged me, along with my book club. Like, I have to read at least 3 to 4 books with them a year, which I love. But once you get started, it gets easier, I think, and you figure out how to make time for it. But anyway, I plan on reading a lot of the books that I already have that talk about the basics of Christianity, women issues, apologetics, and then I hope to have interviews with a lot of those authors, whoever will say yes to me, as much as possible. Hopefully one interview a month. And I also want to make more content having to do with homeschooling and Christianity, providing resources that are helpful for parents. And I have a YouTube channel for that. It's called The Honest Homeschooler. If you want to go subscribe. I also want to make my patrons videos. It's my way of saying thank you to them for supporting me this year. You can request a topic, even if you've donated and you weren't a patron, but you did donate. Go ahead and send me an email or leave me a comment and let me know what you would like for me to record a video in the future on, just as a way of saying thank you to you. And I'll find a way to talk about that topic with maybe one of the books that I'm talking about. Also, I plan on making behind the scenes videos and sharing those in my Patreon page. I want to show you how we're going to record this next music video for this song. Maybe I can ask my husband how he went about doing all these things and things like that. I've also been working on my website, susanmorales.org, and I think I really understand like the vision for my website now. And I'm doing my best since I'm the one doing the things on there. I want it to be very like mentor friendly. So I want to be someone that can share with you the resources that I have found helpful. People, books, videos from my YouTube channel. I want to put them by topics. And I've started doing that. And I hope that it's helpful for new Christians, seekers, or maybe Christians that have just never really heard or gone into depth about what they believe. So Susanna Barnett had asked me to talk about how to evangelize to friends and colleagues without sounding like a salesperson. In the next video, not the next book that we're going to go over at Girl Talk Apologetics, it's actually the book of Tactics by Greg Koukl, and that has everything to do with talking to people about our faith and strategies and things like that. But if not, I think I'll talk about this topic on a video where I'm talking about some of the evangelistic books that I've purchased recently. I'm almost done because I've talked long enough and my kids need their mama again. Diego T. asked me to talk about my favorite scholars, theologians, authors. So I'll just give you a few off of the top of my head right now. Lately, where I'm at on my Bible studies, I love reading Craig Keener's Bible commentary on the New Testament. That's what I'm doing. I'm reading a little bit of, I'm starting on Matthew this year, and then I go and I read the commentary, and then I go back and I read it again. I also like Dr. Michael Brown, his books, because I feel like they talk about a lot of the things that discernment groups on YouTube talk about, but a little more balanced. I like listening to Mike Winger's videos on YouTube. He gives a big scope, of different Bible topics, so it's just interesting to hear different views. And he typically doesn't come across so this is the view that you have to hold to, so I like that perspective. He shares different opinions, so that's good. J.P. Moreland, also, I'm starting to read his books. I want to get more of his books, definitely, in the future. I enjoy listening to Leighton Flower's perspective when it comes to soteriology. Just thinking through, those things about who did God elect and interpreting Bible verses based off of, through a provisionist lens. I like hearing a biblical case for provisionism. And any other, Nancy Pearcey, she's great for learning about worldviews. I'm sure there are more, and that's what I'll be sharing with you this year on my channel. So from those people that I just shared, things I agree with them and I disagree with, the things that I probably disagree with about some of the people that I've had on my channel, the books that I'm reading, they'll have to do with soteriological views. Some of them are going to be Arminians, Calvinists, Reformed theology. So I consider myself a provisionist. I definitely disagree with a lot of these people when it comes to like complementarianism. I would consider myself an egalitarian currently, and I'm researching more in depth that this year in particular. So I like to remember that I'm free to disagree. So if someone comes on my channel and says, repent because you're a woman and you can't teach men, then I can just think right back, I disagree with you, and I don't think that that's what the Bible teaches. So it's okay to disagree with people, and I don't have to feel like I don't have to accept someone else's views and adopt them as my own. I have the Holy Spirit living inside of me to guide me into His truth. So I can trust that. I think I answered. Little things like, I don't know. I think I'm not so strict when it comes to like charismatic things as much as I was when I was listening to certain people that are cessationists. I was really nervous about like even just the concept of speaking in tongues and prophecy and all of that. And now I'm like, wait a minute, we don't have to be afraid of these things. We could pray about it and we can like just observe it and be open to it. God is greater than any false teacher, any false teaching. So we don't have to be living in fear. We can just continue walking with the Lord and trust that He's going to guide us in all truth. Studying more and things like that. My regular life is already really busy. I'm a homeschooling mom, so that's definitely a huge priority. I want to prioritize a healthy lifestyle, physically eating healthier, exercising, laughing more, having a good, healthy mental health, however you would say that, and prioritize my marriage, prioritize my kids, and definitely on the top of the list, my relationship with God. Even when you're doing things for God, you still need to prioritize your relationship with God. So I'm praying for God to give me wisdom about how the methods for this channel, how to go about it, what kinds of videos, how often, and family life, everything to be in good balance. Oh my goodness, if you heard this whole thing, thank you so much. I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys, and I hope you have a blessed year. If you're going through some hard things, I hope that you can rely on, God, His strength, His grace, that He'll get you through anything, that these hard lessons that we go through in life, storms, those will help us later on to have more peace as we're going through difficult storms in life. We can know, hey, no matter, even if the worst thing happened in my life, God will help me through that. So it's great. It's a great comfort to know that we have Emmanuel with us, God with us always. I'll see you on the next video.